The winter of 1777 was one of the harshest winters ever experienced by the Continental Army during the American Revolution. The Army was camped at Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, and morale was at an all-time low. Many soldiers were sick, hungry, and freezing. Despite the harsh conditions, General George Washington remained steadfast in his resolve to keep the Army together and fight for American independence. One night, a group of soldiers gathered in a makeshift shelter to discuss their grievances with the war and their commander-in-chief. One of the soldiers, a man named John, was particularly vocal in his discontent. He had lost friends and family members in the war and felt that Washington was not doing enough to end the conflict. As the night wore on, the conversation turned to the possibility of assassinating Washington. John, who had served under Washington for several years, knew his routines and habits well. He came up with a plan to attack Washington as he was inspecting the troops the next morning. The next morning, Washington arrived at the camp to inspect the troops. John was waiting for him, hidden behind a tree. As Washington approached, John raised his rifle and took aim. But before he could pull the trigger, he was tackled by another soldier. The rifle discharged harmlessly into the air. Washington, who had heard the commotion, rushed over to see what was happening. When he saw John on the ground, he immediately recognized him and was shocked. John was a trusted soldier who had served under him for years. Washington could not understand why he would want to harm him. John was arrested and put on trial for attempted murder. He was found guilty and sentenced to death. Washington, who had the power to pardon him, chose not to do so. John was hanged, and his body was left to rot as a warning to others who might consider assassinating the commander-in-chief. The assassination attempt had a profound effect on Washington. He became even more vigilant about his security and the security of his army. The incident also made him more determined to win the war and secure American independence. Washington's leadership, determination, and resolve played a vital role in securing American independence, and without him, the course of American history would have been vastly different.